È Magda.
Chi è?
È Mena.
Chi è?
È Mina.
Chi è?
È Nena.
Chi è?
È Nina.
Chi è?
È Nini.
Chi è?
È Sabina.
Chi è?
È Savina.
Chi è?
È Spina.
Chi è?
Peppina.
If the meaning of chi è is a question asking for the identity of a person being referred to, the following then are some of the ways of translating the Italian into English. A. Who is it? B. Who is she? C. Who is he? D. What's his name? E. What's her name? F. What's the name of the person being referred to? Frame 22. Is there only one English translation possible for the Italian chi è? The answer is no. Frame 23. Do the English translations given all mean the same thing? That is, may they all be used interchangeably in any given situation? The answer is no. Frame 24. Do they all refer to the same specific situation? The answer is no. Frame 25. Let us now take the very specific situation in which one wishes to identify a famous man being described in a guessing game. Might one ask any of the following questions? Who is it? Who is he? What's his name? The answer is yes. Frame 26. In a particular situation, then, might two or more utterances be used to refer to the same thing? The answer is yes. Obviously, then, the meaning of something depends upon the situation or situations in which it is used. If you know what something may be used to refer to, and how to use it in a particular situation or context, you have learned one of its meanings. The meaning of an utterance like chi è may be arrived at by a definition such as a question asking for the identity of a person being referred to, and by examples of situations in which chi è is used. Sometimes a translation of something like chi è may give one a clue to its meaning, but the meaning of something should not be confused with its translation into another language. The different translations given for chi è are different English ways of expressing what the Italian chi è refers to. Frame 32. Are the translations themselves meanings, or are they reflections of or clues to meanings? The answer is reflections of or clues to meanings. Sometimes from a number of different translations of an utterance, there is one that is used to reflect most of the meanings, or the primary meaning, of the individual words in the utterance. For instance, in the case of chi è, perhaps the translation most usually found is who is it? Such a translation is often referred to as the literal translation. The English word who is the literal translation of the Italian word he. Frame 35. Consequently, can you expect to find who in most cases in which Italians use the word chi? The answer is yes. Frame 36. Should you expect to find who in all cases in which Italians use chi? And should you expect to find chi in all cases in which English speakers use who? The answer is no. Unfortunately for the language learner, it is not always easy to equate words in one language with words in another language. As a consequence, it is impractical and often misleading for the language learner to equate words in one language with words in another language. Let's suppose for a moment that Charles, a fictitious student of Italian, is the type of student who needs to equate words in one language with words in another language. If who is the literal translation of the Italian word chi, Charles would expect to find chi in the normal Italian translation of the following two sentences. A. Who did it? B. He's the person who did it. However, Whereas key may be used in the translation of A, it is not to be used in the translation of B. It is natural for Charles to be puzzled by this fact, since he has been equating who with key. On the other hand, the student who has been taught that key is found in certain kinds of questions for which the literal translation into English involves who should not be so puzzled. Frame 44. Is sentence A a question? The answer is yes. Obviously, then, you can expect key in the Italian translation of A. Frame 46. Is sentence B a question? The answer is no. Obviously, then, you should not expect key in the Italian translation of B. Frame 48. Is the translation of something the same as its meaning? The answer is no. Frame 49. You will now be given both a translation and a meaning of the Italian sentence "E Amanda." Tell which is the translation and which is the meaning. A statement identifying Amanda as the individual being referred to. B. Amanda is the one. The answer is A is a meaning. B is a translation. Frame 50. As a consequence, is it more accurate to say statement X or statement Y? X. The Italian word chi means who. Y. The Italian word chi may be translated as who. The answer is statement Y. Frame 51. In order to learn the meaning of something, should you pay attention to the situations and contexts in which it is used? The answer is yes. Frame 52. Can English translations be used as clues to the meaning of an Italian word or phrase? The answer is yes. Frame 53. Can you know the meaning of something without your being able to give a translation of it? The answer is yes. As you learn to say things in Italian, try to understand and remember the situations and contexts in which they appear. At all times, try to avoid associating Italian words and phrases with English. Naturally, you will find that many times you will be associating Italian and English. This is natural for a native speaker of English, and sometimes this has to be done. However, if you consciously try to avoid making such associations, you will find that you will be A. Concentrating more on the Italian way of saying things, B. Understanding Italian better, and C. Speeding up the learning process, since you will be going directly from the Italian utterance to its meaning, without having to translate first into English in order to arrive at the meaning. This is the end of the recorded portion for Unit 4.